Imagine waking up and not knowing whether it is morning or night. No windows, no sunlight, no way to tell. Now imagine doing that every single day for 90 days straight. You are sealed inside a steel tube, 400 feet beneath the surface of the ocean. Outside your hull, the water pressure is enough to crush a car like a tin can. You cannot make a phone call. You cannot send a text. Your family does not even know exactly where you are. And you are not alone in this tube. You are sharing it with 140 other sailors. This is not a movie. This is not a punishment. This is just Tuesday on a United States nuclear submarine. Today, we are going inside. The bunks, the food, the silence and the secrets, the part nobody talks about. Not how nuclear submarines fight, but how people survive inside them. Before we talk about the people, you need to understand the machine they live in. A US Navy fast attack submarine, like the Los Angeles class, is roughly 100 meters long. That sounds big. It is not. Not when you divide it between a crew of over 100 people, plus weapons, machinery, electronics, food storage, and a nuclear reactor. From front to back, the sub is divided into compartments. At the very front, the torpedo room. This is where the weapons live. It is also where some of the junior sailors sleep, literally on top of the torpedoes. Behind that, the control room, the brain of the submarine. This is where the captain commands, where the periscope lives, where every critical decision is made. Then, the living quarters. And when I say quarters, I mean that literally. Each sailor gets roughly the same amount of personal space as a large coffin. The bunks are stacked 3 high. Each one is about 6 feet long and 2 feet wide. There is a thin curtain for privacy. That is it. That is your home for 3 months. Further back, the engine room. And at the heart of it, the nuclear reactor. It heats water into steam. The steam drives a turbine. The turbine pushes the submarine silently through the deep ocean for months without ever needing to refuel. The air you breathe is scrubbed and recycled by machines. The water you drink is made by stripping salt from the ocean itself. On a submarine, time works differently. Up on the surface, most of us live on a 24-hour clock. The sun rises, the sun sets. Your body knows exactly where it is in the day. Down here, that disappears. There are no windows to the sea. There is no glance at the horizon. There's no stepping outside for a breath of air. The submarine runs on an 18-hour day. The crew is split into 3 groups, called watches. Each watch works for 6 hours, then rests for 12, then works again. Over and over for the entire patrol. Your body clock never fully adjusts. On a submarine, there is no such thing as morning. There is only your watch and someone else's. And over time, that matters psychologically. Now, here is where it gets really uncomfortable. The submarine does not have enough bunks for everyone on board, so sailors hot bunk. 2 sailors share 1 single bunk. When you finish your 6-hour watch and go to sleep, someone else is getting up from that same bunk to go on duty. The bed is always warm. It always smells like someone else. For most people, that would be unbearable. For submarine sailors, it is just how it works. Between watches, sailors study, because on a submarine, everyone must qualify on every system. Torpedo controls, reactor procedures, emergency protocols. Officers can take up to 12 months to qualify. Enlisted sailors, 6 to 8 months. Fail to qualify, and you can be removed from the submarine force entirely. And sleep itself is compromised. You sleep in a world that hums, clicks, breathes, and vibrates with machinery around the clock. You sleep in recycled air, under artificial light, inside a system that never truly stops. So yes, sailors sleep on nuclear submarines, but rest and sleep are not always the same thing. Now here is something that surprises almost everyone. The food on a US Navy nuclear submarine is widely considered the best food in the entire military. We are not talking about combat rations, not powder packets and protein bars. We are talking about steak, lobster, fresh baked bread, ice cream, every single day. Why? Because the US Navy figured something out a long time ago. In fact, nuclear submarines have a reputation for being among the best feeders in the entire Navy, because good meals are seen as essential to crew endurance. Saturday pizza night became a tradition on US attack submarines. Some crews knew the day of the week only from the menu. The cook, called the culinary specialist, is one of the most important people on the boat. A bad cook can genuinely destroy crew morale over a 3-month deployment. A great cook can make people forget, even for 20 minutes, that they are sealed inside a steel tube under the ocean. But there is a timeline to this. The first weeks are called the golden weeks. The refrigerators are full. Fresh food is everywhere. By week 3, fresh vegetables are fading. By month 2, fruit is a memory. The crew lives on canned and frozen provisions for the final stretch. By the end of a long patrol, people would trade almost anything for a fresh apple. The physical challenges of submarine life are real, but the mental ones are where sailors are truly tested. Think about what is missing. No sunlight. Human beings evolved over millions of years to need it. It regulates your hormones, your mood, your sleep cycle. On a submarine, there is none. For months, the boat uses artificial lighting that follows a rough day-night cycle. When the simulated night begins, lighting shifts to red, preserving night vision, signaling the body to wind down. But it is nothing like real daylight. Nothing even close. No communication with family, or almost none. Modern submarines can send and receive short messages called familygrams, brief one-way notes from home. Your wife can send a few lines. Your children can tell you about school, but you cannot reply in detail. You cannot hear their voices. And some operations require full communications blackout, meaning for weeks at a time, you hear nothing at all from the people you love. No privacy either. 140 people in a sealed tube. You are never truly alone. Not while eating, not while sleeping, not while exercising. On Royal Navy submarines, cabins can hold up to 30 men. The Guardian described those spaces as hot, crowded, and stale. One submariner told the BBC that perhaps the biggest lesson submarine life teaches is tolerance. Because even if you do not get on with someone, you still have to live and work beside them with no way out. So what do sailors do to stay sane? Movies. A submarine's digital library holds hundreds of films and series, books, card games. Some sailors teach themselves new skills, languages, music theory, mathematics, simply to keep their minds occupied. Exercise when the tiny gym allows it. And then there is purpose. That knowledge, that you are part of something larger than yourself, is what gets a sailor through month 3. When the food is canned, the bunk belongs to someone else. And the last message from home arrived 2 weeks ago. And then, after 90 days, sometimes more, it ends. The submarine rises slowly toward the surface. Pressure equalizes. The hatch opens for the first time in months. And the first thing every single sailor does, before anything else, is lift their face toward the sky. On the dock, families are waiting. Children who have grown. Spouses who carried everything alone for 3 months. Parents who quietly counted every day. There are scenes at submarine homecomings that will make the most control person emotional. Sailors who have held everything tightly together for 90 days, suddenly unable to hold it when they see their child running toward them. But here is the thing most people do not understand about this moment. The sailor cannot tell their family where they went. They cannot say which ocean. They cannot say what they were doing. They cannot confirm or deny the missions they ran, what they observed, what they were ready to do if the order had come. The work of a nuclear submarine is classified, deeply classified. Their family has learned not to ask. They knew the rules before the patrol began. And so the homecoming is filled with this strange combination. Enormous joy and an enormous silence sitting right beside it. That is what makes submarine sailors unlike almost anyone else. They do not get parades for specific missions. They do not get public recognition for what they prevented or what they were prepared to do. They surface. They hug their families. They sleep in a real bed for the first time in months. The hidden achievement of a nuclear submarine is not only that it can vanish beneath the sea for months at a time. So the next time you hear about nuclear submarines, about stealth or missiles or geopolitics, remember what is actually happening inside that hull. People learning to live in confinement, carrying responsibility without applause, remaining steady in a place where the ocean is always outside, the steel is always close, and home is very far away. If this video gave you a new level of respect for the men and women who serve beneath the waves, drop a comment. Tell me which part surprised you most. Next video, we are going inside an aircraft carrier. 100,000 tons of floating city, 5,000 sailors, fighter jets launching every 90 seconds. Subscribe so you do not miss it. This is Naval Command, and I will see you in the next one.